Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome back to the 𝗪𝗲 Pro's Guide to Special Forces Assessment and Selection. Today we're showing you the fourth and final part of our series, and it's physical preparation, planning and programming.
Superb comfort, unique no-melt, no-drip construction, reliable elbow protection, and fast drying times. This is the 𝗪𝗥𝗢 combat shirt.
When you're trying to get ready for selection, you absolutely must have a written out battle plan. That means a program. Because failing to plan is planning to fail. So get your shit together. Once you've decided on a program and a plan, stick with that thing. You can't expect to change stuff every 2 weeks just because you don't like the results you've gotten so far. Trust the process and just keep going. Also be aware that no plan survives first contact, so you have to build in some contingency options as well as be able to improvise. Once you decide to pull the trigger, it's go time. Stick with it, keep going, make it non-negotiable. Be consistent. The point is, you need to have thought through what you want to achieve. You need a solid base from which you can make adaptations in case you have to and still stay on track to your goals. There are several ways in which people use to choose a training program. The first one is a champions program. One prime example is the Bulgarian weightlifting program. So there's only one problem with that. Yes, they have produced a lot of champions. However, they are all state-sponsored professionals that were picked at a young age for the genetics. They are put through an extremely hard training program where lots of them end up being injured and selected out of the program. And the few that actually go through the whole program, yes, they have great results and they probably become champions, but at what cost to everyone else? Now, how high are the chances that you are one of those that will actually make positive adaptations by using such a championship program? Then there are the kind of one-size-fits-all programs that you can get on the internet. Quite a few of those programs are actually written by former special operations soldiers which have turned to a second career in the coaching field. I think it's well worth to take a look at some of those programs, especially if you can find one that is geared towards the unit that you actually want to go to. The biggest advantage is obviously that the person who wrote the program knows exactly what is expected of you. And if he's a good coach, he also knows the best way to get you there. However, you still only have a program that is basically written for everybody. It is not specifically written for you. So you may have to do some adjustments yourself. This brings us to the next option, personal training. Now, if this really is your dream to go and finish selection and make it to a special operations unit, you should be willing to pay some money to get a good program and a coach. Of course, it's very important to find the right coach for you. So I would suggest you pick someone who has a military background and actually has experience in preparing people for selection-like events. A coach that specializes in a sport like triathlon or in general physical preparedness will have a much harder time in designing the right training plan for you. One mistake that people make is that they think someone who has been a good athlete or is a good athlete must automatically be a good coach as well. And there we have a big problem because a lot of good athletes never had a lot of difficulties to go through because they are very talented. They pretty much have good results no matter what their training plan is. You have to always make the difference whether did someone get good results because of the training that he went through or in spite of the training that he went through. So for example, he could have been on a horrible plan. If he had great genetics, he might still be a winner in a championship. In contrast to that, a coach who had less talent and made many mistakes is probably better suited because he already had to work through a lot of problems himself, so he will most likely recognize if you have the same problems and also know a way to help you through them. Of course, you always have the option of designing your own program yourself if you know what you're doing. The problem with that is that you don't have any external overwatch, and what you are programming could be just stuff you like to do and not really what you need to do. The best idea would probably be to get an external program, probably from one of the ex-military guys, and then see if you want to adjust that and how you can adjust that to better fit your personal needs. The first thing you need to do when you design a program for yourself is you need to define your starting point. That means you have to have objective values of your performance. For example, if you want to become a Navy SEAL, but you realize you're a shitty swimmer, you just have to accept that your numbers are nowhere near where they're supposed to be, and you have to plan accordingly. The second thing you need is your end date, which means at what endpoint do I have to reach what numbers. Once you have that in place, you can start designing your way from A to B. You have to constantly be aware of the symptoms of overtraining, one of which is an increased heart rate when you wake up in the morning. So check your heart rate every morning and write it down. That's the only way you can recognize an increased heart rate right away. Other symptoms are constant muscle soreness, being tired all the time, not wanting to work out, and being anxious. As soon as you think that you are overtraining because of symptoms you recognize, you need to immediately switch to a no training or active recovery protocol. You can still work on technique, but there can absolutely be no intensity involved. Try to improve your recovery, go to the sauna, get a massage, improve your nutrients, and get a lot of sleep. Once the symptoms go away and your heart rate is back to the regular level, you can start training again. When you structure your daily workout, you should go this way: warm-up, technique, power, strength, and endurance. When you're structuring your microcycles, I would suggest you go with 3 weeks on and 1 week of recovery. Be aware that you also have to structure your macrocycles. If you have a lot of time left, start by training strength, because strength is the thing that takes the most time to actually increase, and towards the end, add in your short-term endurance and your metabolic conditioning. Adding more complexity to your workout schedule does not necessarily make it better. You only need a certain amount of complexity unless you are at a very high level of athletic sports. That is the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. And finally, your body knows best. So sometimes if you really don't feel like working out or like doing the weight that is prescribed in your workout, just change it. Don't be a slave to your program. Now I want to show you a way to structure your training plan so you don't forget anything when you're doing your own programming. Okay, up here you have the different days. Right now I just put 7 days on there, but you can put as many days on there as you want. The first aspect you want to have is your warm-up. Now in this case, because I want to keep it simple, I just put in a general part and a specific part. The general part is usually the same thing every day. The specific part kind of has to do with what kind of other workout parts you have in mind for that day. The next spot here is going to be strength training. Okay, you have the different movements that we went through. So you have your squat, you have your vertical push, which I just called push 1. You've got the horizontal pull, that's why I called it pull 2. You got the hinge, you got the other push, the other pull, and here you go and start with the squat again. So you can see I only have 6 of those movements because I put heavy carries and sprints in a different place. So those are all the strength movements that you would do with weights. You put them in whatever order you want, but to make sure you not miss any single one of them. If, for example, you, for whatever reasons, think you need to be more emphasizing the squat, then you probably want to put the squat more often than once every 6 days. So those are options how you can alternate that. I deliberately put a vertical and a horizontal move next to each other, not 2 vertical moves. Also, I deliberately did not put squat and hinge right next to each other. The next spot is going to be the metabolic conditioning. So those are your endurance workouts, okay? And here we're talking about the full body endurance workouts, because the running obviously is down here where it says running. Those are separate into the different time frame events. So you have your below 5, you have 5 to 10, you have 10 to 20. And you don't have a 20+ on this one because you only would do the 20+ events, or I would only do 20+ events every couple of weeks. So in this example, there's no 20+ in there. On these workouts also, you will put the emphasis on whatever time frame you want to emphasize. So in this case, you can see I have 3 very short workouts within 7 days. The next spot is going to be run, and then you also have carry. So you can see on this example, I put a running event in every day and also a carry event in every day. You have 1 sprint 40 meters in a week. You have 1 tempo threshold in a week, and the rest is filled with cyclical aerobic, and it's loaded and unloaded in this example. But if, for example, you're a complete beginner, all of these may be the jog-walk style. If you're advanced and you want to really emphasize the rucking, those may all be rucking. Carry also includes sled pushes, okay? So I have a waiter walk on the first day, a bear hug walk on the second day, sled push third day, farmer's walk, sled push, overhead walk, sled push. So this is just to show you that you want to alternate these things within one line, okay? What you also want to do is you want to plan in rest days. So this example does not have rest days. It's just 7 days in a row, and you would start again with basically day 8, day 9, day 10 with no rest days at all. Now that's obviously not a smart idea, but everybody has different days where he wants to put his rest days. Some people will have to rest on weekends because maybe they want to spend all the day with the family and they don't want to train at all, or they don't have no means of training on the weekend, and they may have like a 5-day workout and 2-day rest period split. Other people, if they have a home gym or whatever, they can just put the rest days into 2 days of training, 1 day of rest, 2 days of training, 1 day of rest, which would obviously mean that not every week, so not every Monday is the same thing. If you have a split where you have all weekends off, make sure that not every Monday, for example, is a squat day. So what you want to avoid is having the same movements on the same day. You also want to avoid, in this example, having squat and the Metcon the same 2 weeks after each other. Okay, if that happens, you're either moving the squat or you're moving the Metcon to another time frame, because you want to hit the body with as many different variations of training as possible. So you can already see that the programming can become quite complex, especially since in this example, I'm only using building blocks. This is a 10 to 20 minute workout. You don't have any details made up for that workout yet. Now the details for that workout, what kind of weights you would use, what kind of exercises you would use, would it be a circuit training, would it be whatever you can think of, that has also to make sense related to what was your strength training on that day and what else do you have planned. If you are planning to do sprints, you probably don't want to do anything that has to do with sprints in your workout. Same thing if you did a vertical push, heavy kettlebell presses, you probably don't want to do kettlebell presses or any vertical push in your workout. This is just a rough idea of how you can go about ordering a workout plan.
Extreme rugged construction, super spacious pocket configuration, and knee protection that's both reliable and comfortable. Gear up with the 𝗪𝗥𝗢 combat pants. Visit 𝗪𝗵𝗁.com.
Okay, what about a training partner? A lot of people like to have a training partner because the training partner helps with the accountability. Sometimes they don't want to go to the gym, but the training partner wants to go, so they have to go even though they don't want to. If you want to go into special operations, you shouldn't really need someone else to get you to train, because, you know, that's not really a good base to go off from. Since you are goal-oriented, by all means, if you have someone who wants to train with you, train with them. The best thing to do is find someone who wants to do the same selection as you, so you guys can be on a somewhat similar program and have the same goals. So one final word about time frame considerations. You don't necessarily have to jump on the next selection course that's available. Give yourself enough time to actually get ready for it. Some selection courses only offer you 1 or a limited amount of tries, so you don't want to blow them just by being not prepared because you wanted to go right away. Sometimes it's better to take the longer road and injury-proof yourself, get yourself up to a great standard so that you have the best chances of actually passing selection, not only taking part. You may think that selection is just a one-time event, but you're wrong. Selection is a never-ending process, and you have to earn your spot on the team every single day. Nobody cares how good you were yesterday. Everybody cares how good you are today. And your answer should be better than yesterday. This concludes our 4-part series of how to get ready for selection. We showed you how to gather information, how to get your mindset right, and how to physically prepare for it. Now, if you really want to be part of this community, it's well worth every effort you have to put in. There are a lot of resources publicly available, books, podcasts, and now this series. I really hope that the advice we gave you will help you to understand what it takes to get ready for selection. No one said it would be easy, but everybody that did it said it was worth it. So I wish you all the best for your journey. I hope to see you soon. Now go out there and crush it.